Hello and welcome to the UCI Mountain Bike Eliminator World Cup Round 4 from Sakarya in Turkey. We are here for Round 4 following Paris, Barcelona, Palankaraya. We are in Sakarya. We are at the venue that held the European Championships in 2023, where Eddie Molnar and Guy Tormeno took away the win. Will they do so today? Well, the track is flowing really fast, as you can see. Straight up, that starts straight over the rocks onto the grass, and it pinches into the left-hand corner. You take the tight turn, you drop down along the run to the right-hand switchback that takes you into the short, sharp climb that is the bridge. Drop off the other side, then the long climb. And this is the one that always catches our riders out. 500 meters to go, banner on that left-hand side. These tight, tight corners. You have got to be P1 or P2 if you want qualification, because you come down over the rock garden, down over the drop, through the chicanes. And new for today, up and onto the stage before you hit the ramps and the log roll down. Then the tight run and corner into the finish straight, where you take the sprint for the win, as long as you still have your chain on after that log roll descent, and that is what catches a lot of our riders out. Now, the time trial earlier on today, Guy Tormeno setting the fastest time at 4 seconds quicker than Didi de Vries, the winner of round 3. Closure 5 seconds back. Boissier, who took second place in the last round, coming through in 4th. Now, this is what the quarterfinals looks like. So 4 heats, 3 riders in each, 2 riders to progress through to the semi-finals. Tormena, Kuiper, Barecki are the first group of riders to go. We will then see the others progress through. Lined up and ready to go. Our first quarterfinal for the women. Guy Tormeno in 1, Elodie Kuiper in 2, Esther Barecki in 3. They've been given the 15 seconds. Away go, the first quarterfinals of the women's race today. Fast and furious. It is an uphill section out of the start pen. You can see Tormena shoulder checking both sides because she wants the line into the single track. Well, she's going to take it in those rainbow stripes, but she doesn't want to do too much work. She wants to save her energy because she did not take to the start line. She didn't travel to Indonesia for round 3. She is still leading the World Cup, but only by 13 points from Didi de Vries. She takes that drop down corner in 1. She's going to come to this tight right bend before the bridge. Now, she has been caught out in the finals before on this course in Sakarya, so she's going to absolutely be paying attention to the lines that she rides today and where the competition is. But currently Tormena out in P1, clear of the rest of the field. There you go, that's another shoulder check from Tormena, not wanting to expend too much energy because the first 2 riders in each of our heats progressing through to the next round. The rock garden, the jump, she is clear of those riders, and the rider who gets to the top of that climb first, the lead just extends on that downhill shot. She's coming through now onto the stage. May not be the only time she's on the stage today. Up and on to the log roll section, bumpy on the top and on the descent for today's round, and absolutely crucial. You keep your bike in one piece on that section, or else you are in trouble on to the finish straight. We have seen quite regularly when we've been here in Sakarya problems for riders on that section. So Guy Tormeno coming through in 1. Second place coming across the line. There we go. That is indeed Elodie Kuiper coming through and qualifying for the semi-finals. So great to see Elodie Kuiper back in business. She came back to the World Cup Eliminator last round in Palankaraya. Great to see her back on the start line and progressing through to the semi-finals this time. So Tormena taking the cheers from the crowd, resplendent in that rainbow jersey. As we see the lineup, oh, look at that, take a look at that. Barecki there getting caught out with a broken chain, wheeling her way off of the finish straight so that the next quarterfinal can start. Now, the next quarterfinal, Lena Migdum in 1. It's going to be Madison Boissier in 2, and Cansu Celebi in 3 from Turkey. This is the next quarterfinal in the women's race today. Being given 15 seconds to start. Boissier finished in 2nd place in round 3. Going to be really interesting to see where she can finish today, but the riders are away. They're on to the fast start straight, and it's Boissier who pips into the lead, just dropping in front of Migdum. She wants that line onto the grass off of the tarmac. It's a climb and then a rocky transition on to the grass, so you can see the climb there underneath the wheels at the moment. Boissier and Migdum side by side. Migdum just on her wheel there as they slot onto the grass section. Now, 2 riders to qualify and progress through to the semi-finals today. Boissier going to want to put a strong performance in after that added motivation from the race last week in Indonesia. So Boissier coming through in 1, Migdum coming through in 2. 1 lap of this course today. It's a longer course than where we see the 2-lap races. The aim to have a similar distance, no more than 1.2 kilometers in total. So depending upon the length of the lap, depends upon whether we go out 1 or 2 times. 1 today in Sakarya, and Boissier, well, she's bossing it up the climb at the moment. It is an exceptionally steep climb, and it's not till you get a panoramic shot of the arena that you actually realise how steep that climb is on this course today. But Madison Boissier from France coming through into the stage section. She'll go up onto the stage, drop off the other side, come up onto the log roll section. Now these log rolls on the top as well as on the descent. Really technical section where keeping the bike together absolutely key. Coming through, taking the turn onto the finish straight, Madison Boissier is going to progress to the semi-finals. Lena Migdum from Denmark in 2. She's also going to progress. It's going to be the local Turkish rider, Cansu Celebi, who's not going to progress from that heat. But Boissier and Migdum both progressing to the semi-finals today. You can see all riders absolutely adamant the start is key, but also is getting to the top of the climb in 1st position in your heat. Keeping the bike together on the log roll essential, and crossing and getting that bike across the line. Now, last time out in Palankaraya, a number of riders had issues in terms of getting the bike across the line. We saw, particularly in that men's final, real issues in that racing. Not wanting to replicate that today, these women ensuring the bikes come over. So, in 1, the Turkish rider, Caesar. In 2, from the Netherlands, De Vries lining up. And then it is going to be Aziz Becker in 3. Now, Didi De Vries took the win last week in round 3. Her first time ever for a World Cup win, as we just see the Turkish rider coming in and over the line from her heat. So Didi De Vries on a high from the first World Cup win in round 3. She's the rider with 2 on her plate, rider in red, white and blue from Liv Cycling. She's the champion of the Netherlands, and you can see her absolutely adamant. This is it. She wants this line. She wants first out of the gun, and away they go. This is heat number 3 in the women's quarterfinals. De Vries is not having it her own way, because Aziz Becker is the rider out in the lead at the moment. The Turkish rider absolutely pushing on. She shoulder checks to see where the other 2 riders are. They're side by side coming up the climb, and the climb is now separating them, and I think it's De Vries. Yes, De Vries is going to come round at the top of the climb, up and over the top and into P1. She comes round Becker, the Turkish rider who took it out from the start straight, but Becker straight on De Vries's wheel. As they swing down and into the straight, we shall take them into the right-hand bend. Now, absolutely essential in terms of positioning here, because once they come round this tight bend, we're going to see them up and onto the bridge and then onto the climb, and Becker needs to hold that back wheel. She needs to close it down. She needs to be right on the back wheel of De Vries. She really needs to keep this motoring. Caesar in 3 at the moment, the second Turkish rider, but it is De Vries, round 3's World Cup winner in P1 at the moment, working her way up the climb. Becker there in shot as well. She is not far off of De Vries' back wheel. Going to come down and over the rock garden, through the drop, and then back on to the tarmac as they continue here. And De Vries just stretching her lead from Aziz Becker, the rider in second place at the top of the climb. So Didi De Vries comes up, she comes over the stage, she comes up onto the log roll and down the other side. She's going to swing round on to the final straight. So Didi De Vries is going to qualify for the semi-finals. Winner of round 3. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how she progresses with that added motivation, drive and commitment from the win last time out. Qualifying in second place, Aziz Becker will be progressing to the semi-finals as well. Fabulous ride from her, running De Vries hard and fast off of the start line, and I wonder whether De Vries was a little bit worried then. So you can see that fast start, and then you can see the change on positions, and all 3 riders going into those early corners absolutely in a row. The 2 Turkish riders giving the Netherlands rider De Vries an absolute run for her money in that heat, but De Vries coming through, taking the win from Becker, 3 seconds clear. Well, the final heat of the women's quarterfinal lining up. We've got Colleen Couture from France, Agnes Abrahamsson from Sweden, and Hannah Beck from Germany lined up and ready to go. This is the last quarter final for the women. 15-second board going up now. Hannah Beck, one of our youngest riders, finished 9th in round 3. Challenged by full-time university study as well as racing on the World Cup, but away they go. No thoughts of studying at the moment as Beck drops in behind Couture and Abrahamsson on the start straight. It's one line of riders and they're being led out by Abrahamsson. Couture into, glued to her wheel. Beck struggling to stay with the pace here as Couture goes up and round Abrahamsson on the climb. She wants that first corner. Now, wearing the rainbow bands on her outfit of a previous world champion, as she drops down the corner, Abrahamsson drops into P2 behind her, and Couture is trying to extend that lead, but it's the first 2 to qualify. Hannah Beck, the young German rider, not in shot at the moment because it's Colleen Couture we are watching come up and onto the bridge. Agnes Abrahamsson, the Swedish rider, in 2. These 2 riders now with a clear gap back to Hannah Beck, the German rider, but that gap being foreshortened now as they hit the climb. So it really is a steep climb up to the highest point on this course today before the drop down through the rock garden, the drop-off section as they step down and then back onto the tarmac. It is indeed Couture. Oh, I was just taking a sneaky look there. She was playing with her gears as she was making the change onto the tarmac. So Couture in 1, coming off of the stage up onto the log roll section. She'll be coming down onto the other side, ensuring she keeps that bike together because Agnes Abrahamsson right on her wheel. She can see the bumps and the vibration through the bike. So Couture swings on to the finish straight. Abrahamsson is there as well as Beck comes down off of that section. Couture coming across the line in 1, Abrahamsson in 2. It will be those 2 riders who progress today. Hannah Beck not making it through to the semi-finals. So Couture pleased with that qualification and move through. Abrahamsson as well. They head off to spin down their legs and get ready for that semi-final later. So we see Abrahamsson drop into the lead, Couture come round her. These riders utilising that dropper seat post on the roller log section well. But Couture and Abrahamsson, the 2 to qualify from that heat. Well, we move from the women to the men. But first, just a reminder of those riders qualifying for the semi-finals. Tormena, Kuiper, De Vries, Boissier, Migdem, Clusure, Abrahamson and Becker. Now, the men, well, the 8th finals were fast and furious today, and the news is Lachlan Brown, who won round 3 out from the 8th finals, being dropped to 4th place. Eddie Stiebel also had technical issues and went from 2nd to 4th in the 8th finals. So the quarterfinals now are in front of you. 4 heats, 4 men, 2 to go through, 2 not progressing to the semi-finals, and this is heat number 1. So we have Matsumoto, Lind, Yuka and Klemenchik now. Edvin Lind has set the fastest time in the time trial earlier on today, 1.8 seconds faster than Molnar. As away goes heat 1. Can he hang it through and make it through to the finals? Lind has had issues and challenges elsewhere in other rounds. Is this round going to be his week as he challenges for the lead and comes through on the climb into P1, but they are heaving behind him, not just lined up but side by side as all 3 of them try to come round the corner together. Lind is in 1, holding his line, but it's the Slovakian rider Klemenchik who is absolutely dialing this at the moment. It's Matsumoto on the back and Yuka, the Turkish rider, right in the mix as well, as Edvin Lind from Sweden goes up and over the bridge. He's holding P1 at the moment, but the fight is hard behind for the second qualifying position as they come up on to the climb. So Lind on the climb first as they push here. He's going to come up and take that corner and go over the top and through the rock garden on to the drop. Klemenchik, I think, is in 2 at the moment, but even Lind isn't sure as he crosses over and looks over his shoulder to see what the gap is and to see what's going on behind. And what's going on behind is the riders are fast and furious and trying to close him down as he goes up onto the log roll section. He's coming down in 1. It is Klemenchik in 2. But Yuka, the Turkish rider, the local rider, is going to get a loud cheer coming round that corner into the fight for second position. But it's going to be Edvin Lind who takes the qualification in P1. It's going to be Klemenchik, the second rider, progressing to the semi-finals. Close run for Yuka, the Turkish rider, and Matsumoto coming through in 4th. So Lind and Klemenchik progressing from that quarter final. You can see the next one already lined up and ready to go. So Klausman, Ceres, Ackman and Messi, the 4 riders lined up for heat number 2. So the riders lined up for heat number 2, already given the 15 seconds to go. They're off, the whistle's gone, the men are away. This is heat number 2 in the quarterfinals. Ackman, Ceres, Klausman and Messi. They are side by side pushing on here. In fact, we've just seen Messi come round, but it's anybody's into this climb at the moment. The elbows are out and the climb is pushing, and in fact, take a look at that. It's Klausman who comes round from P4 to P1 on the climb, and the riders are fighting it out for 2nd, 3rd and 4th behind him. So Klausman comes round in 1. It is indeed Ceres in 2. Now Ceres has to qualify here because he's currently leading the World Cup at the moment, holding on 228 points. He needs this qualification to progress and stand a chance of staying at the top of the World Cup standings. But Klausman is really riding this hard at the moment from the front. Ceres in 2. And they're off, and it is indeed Klausman P1, and he's got a problem remounting as well. Ceres is back on, and the Turkish rider there, Ackman, absolutely in close contention for second position as well. This is not over yet as Klemenchik and Klausman come through. So Klausman in 1, Ceres in 2, Ackman in 3. Messi is out of this now, but it's Klausman in 1, side by side with Ceres as Ceres comes up onto the log roll first. Ceres is going to come down and into the final straight first. It's going to be a fight between Ackman and Klausman for the second qualifying position. I think it's going to be Klausman who holds this, but it is indeed Ceres who comes around there and takes P1. But the first 2 riders to qualify, so Lorenzo Ceres from France, Felix Klausman from Germany, both of them qualifying at the moment. That was full gas to the finish line. So Ferkman, Akman and Josip Messi, the Turkish and Estonian riders, not progressing. As we head quickly into heat number 3, it's Riker from Germany, Perrin Gagne from France, Molnar from Romania and Chamalidier from Turkey. Now Molnar has something to prove because he won the European Championships on this course. He's going to want to prove it wasn't a fluke, and this is his course, and he's out in P1 at the moment with the world champion in those rainbow stripes on his heels. But it's Riker as well who really wants this too. So Riker is in the black, Perrin Gagne is in the rainbow stripes, Molnar is in the white and blue European champions jersey, and the rider in red is the local Turkish rider Chamalidier. So as we come into the corner prior to the bridge, they are concertinaing back together again, and it is indeed Molnar still in P1, Perrin Gagne P2, Riker in 3. It's going to be a battle royale between these 3 riders for the finish today. The Turkish rider slid out on the course, leaving these 3 here, and it is Molnar in 1, Perrin Gagne still in 2. Riker is now distanced off the back. Riker's got some work to do if he wants to qualify. I don't think we're going to see Riker moving through to the semi-finals. I think this is going to be Molnar and Perrin Gagne. Perrin Gagne comes up to the side of Molnar and drops down. In fact, Riker now coming back into contention as they swing onto the finish straight. So is Molnar, it's Perrin Gagne, it's Riker coming up on the outside. Can he make it? It's going to be tight. No, he doesn't. So what a recovery from Niels Riker to come back into contention. So you see the Turkish rider who slid out earlier on the first half of the course finish his quarter-final. Now Molnar and Perrin Gagne, the 2 riders to progress, but that was a close run quarter-final. Fabulous riding and racing here in Sakarya at the UCI MTB Eliminator World Cup. We're lining up for heat number 4 in the men's quarterfinals. Gerli, Hauser, Tarasoft and Nemec are the riders lined up. We are going to see them away, I was going to say very shortly, but they are already away, and the fight is on for that key position into the climb. We've seen them fast and furious on this start straight, trying to get the core position, and Theo Hauser is the rider coming out on top, but he's being challenged by Tarasoft, and in fact Tarasoft is the benefactor of that climb because Tarasoft goes into that corner first. Hauser on his wheel. Gerli, the Hungarian rider, is there as well. Now, this is going to be another tight fought race as we see an issue there coming onto the corner. I think we've just done a front wheel, hit a back wheel. But as we continue to push on, it's leading 3 riders clear here. So, Tarasoft in 1. Hauser in 2. These 2 riders fighting it out, and it is Attila Gerli, the Hungarian rider, in 3. Simon Nemec, the rider from the Czech Republic, getting caught out there. So Tarasoft continuing to progress here. Hauser just pushing, just ensuring he's clear and clean in that second position. He needs to push because I tell you something, Attila Gerli is coming really fast up from behind. So Hauser moving into P1 to ensure qualification. Tarasoft in 2, but I tell you something, he doesn't want to take this easily because they are fighting for that second position, and Gerli is coming thick and fast, wanting to make this a sprint, but he just misses out. Tell you something, another 5 to 10 meters and he'd have had that qualification, but it's Hauser in 1, Tarasoft in 2. Gerli, well, he is not happy with that 3rd place and he's up and off of the course quickly. Nemec is the rider coming through in 4th. So Hauser and Tarasoft progress to the semi-finals. We'll be moving to those shortly. So confirmation of the quarter-final results in the men's competition at the UCI MTB Eliminator World Cup here in Sakarya. Lind Klemchik, Molnar, Perrin Gagne, Series, Klausman, Tarasoft and Hauser. So the semi-finals now for the women up in front of us. The first semi-final, Tormena, Boissier, Migdam and Kuiper. The second, De Vries, Closure, Abramson and Becker. lining up for the first women's semi-final. We have our 4 riders being given the 15-second notification to start. Gaia Tormena in 1 from Italy, Madison Boissier from France in 2, Lina Migden from Denmark, and Elodie Kuiper in 4. So away they go, and the race is on for first position as they head towards the climb. And Tormena is doing that again. She's set herself apart from the other riders, and she's ensuring she's got line of sight on all of them as she comes up the climb and drops into first place. She's dropping in over the top of Madison Boissier and Lina Migden, the 2 riders. Now Madison Boissier in the purple and white live kit. Lina Migden, oh, as Boissier just clips out on the side there, back and recovered really well and back onto the course. So Tormena in 1, Boissier in 2, Lina Migden, the Danish rider, in 3 in the red and white kit at the moment. These are the 3 riders clear. Elodie Kuiper not in contention at the moment as Tormena pushes on. The race here is for second place. 2 riders qualifying and progressing through to the finals. The riders in 3 and 4 going into the small final today. So Tormena in 1 coming down over the rock garden off of the drop. She's just got to hold that bike and herself together and get them across the line. The fight, however, is on behind between Madison Boissier from France and Lina Migden from Denmark. Those 2 riders battling it out for second place and the second qualifying position for the main final today, as we watch Tormena come down and just showing you how challenging that rock section is. And it is indeed Lina Migden who's come over the top of Madison Boissier. These 2 are going to be fighting it out, and looks like Tormena comes wide there to give them room to run in behind, because they're going to need to run in behind. Is it going to be Boissier? Is it going to be Migden? I think that might be Migden in front of Boissier. Boissier's not going to be happy with that. She took second place in round 3 in Indonesia. She's not going to qualify for the main final here. She's going to qualify for the small final. So Tormena and Lina Migden going through to the main final. Boissier and Kuiper going through to the small final as Elodie Kuiper comes across the line in 4th place. So the second semi-final lining up already in this women's race. From France, it's Colleen Closure. From the Netherlands, Didi Le Vries. From Sweden, Agnes Abrahamsson. And from Turkey, Aziz Becker. The riders being held, but away they go. This is absolutely crucial. They all know how important this is, and the Turkish rider who had the flying start last time is in P4 this time, as it is Agnes Abrahamsson who leads them out onto the climb. Closure comes round. Can Closure go into P1 like she did last time, or will she get trapped in P2? But she's come round, but so has Didi Le Vries. It's De Vries and Closure at the front, almost side by side. Oh, sneaky little back whip on that bike from Closure. So Closure in 1, at De Vries in 2, Abrahamsson in 3. In fact, now it looks like to me like it's Abrahamsson in 4 and the Turkish rider Becker in 3, as this is a massive fight for this qualification into the major final at the moment. And the 2 riders at the front, it is De Vries and Closure. Becker and Abrahamsson, the 2 riders a little further back, need to be mindful, because any small error that we can see on this climb, and we have seen errors on the climb today in the men's race, but it's Closure into the rock garden first. Didi Le Vries, the winner from round 3 in 2. She's paying close attention to that back wheel of Closure because she wants to ensure qualification. They've got a clear gap now on Abrahamsson and Becker. In fact, it was Becker and Abrahamsson last time we saw them in 3rd and 4th. The 2 riders coming in over the line in 1st and 2nd will qualify for the major final. Riders in 3 and 4 will qualify for the small final. Didi Le Vries looking over her shoulder, realising that they've done enough. She's just come off the power a little bit to take it easy, reserve some energy for that final as Closure comes over the line. Didi Le Vries from the Netherlands in 2. She won that World Cup last week, and she's just qualified for another World Cup final. So Aziz Becker coming over in 3, Agnes Abrahamsson in 4. They will go forward to the small final today here at the UCI MTB Eliminator World Cup at Sakarya. There you go. The qualifications are in front of you. Tormena, Migdam, Klazur and De Vries. That will be your main women's final today. The men's semi-finals are up next, and we are going to see Lind, Seres, Klemenchuk and Klausman in the first heat, Molnar, Hauser, Tarasov and Perrin Gagne. And I'll tell you something, either of these semi-finals could be the major final today. The class in this race field absolutely strong. So Klausman from Germany, Lind from Sweden, Seres from France and Klemenchuk from Slovakia lined up, and away they go. So the race is on for that first run into the climb, and it is indeed Edvin Lind, the Swedish rider, who is leading them out here. Klemenchuk in two, but he's got company because all of the riders now fast and furious, and in fact they're elbow by elbow at the moment as Klemenchuk comes round Edvin Lind at the top of that climb as they drop into the descent. So it's Klemenchuk and Lind in 1 and 2. Klausman and Seres. Now Seres will not be happy with this. At some point we are going to see an attack from Lorenzo Seres, current leader of the World Cup, but he is a long way back at the moment. Klemenchuk and Lind 1 and 2. The other two riders, Klausman and Seres, fighting this out behind. They're onto the climb. They mustn't make a mistake. No dabs, no feet down, no nothing, because it's Klausman in 3, Seres in 4. So the German rider Klausman, P3, the French rider who's currently leading the World Cup, P4 at the moment. So Klemenchuk and Lind, the two riders, looking as though they are clear here in this semi-final, heat number 1. They look like they are going to qualify for the major final. Oh, well, Klausman and Seres are coming up behind, but I think they've left this run too late. Seres missed a gear change at the top of the first climb, but he's not been able to make up for that. So Lind and Klemenchuk, the two riders clear, they will progress to the major final. Lorenzo Seres, the Frenchman leading the front of the World Cup at the moment, along with Felix Klausman, they will go through to the minor final.
And Felix Klausman.
So Edvin Lind is going to be one happy rider at the moment, having set the fastest time trial pace today, but also through the other rounds as well. He's not then had the easiest of runs through the competition, but here we are, the second semi-final in the men's race. Perrin, Gagne, Hauser, Molnar and Tarasov giving the 15-second notification to start. So away they go, and the riders looking for this first spot. Look at them looking at each other across that. Molnar happy to sit into P4, but at the moment it's Hauser in 1. These riders absolutely elbows out as Molnar comes round. So Molnar and Hauser at the front. The world champion is back as we see an issue there as the riders are elbow to elbow on the course now. No deliberate issues, no deliberate banging into the competition, but accidents happen. This is a tight course and riders are fighting for position, but I'm sure our commissaires will take a look at that as Hauser dabs on the corner. Another problem under pressure for Theo Hauser. Perrin Gagne is there, so is Molnar. It's Tarasov who was the rider who had the problem. So Hauser, Perrin Gagne and Molnar, the three riders being left in this semi-final at the moment. It's Hauser in 1. Molnar in 2, Perrin Gagne in 3, and I tell you something, the pressure Theo Hauser must feel at the moment. He's got the European champion on his wheel and the world champion behind him as they swing on to the tarmac. They've got 2 more features to go, and all 3 of them are in contention here. Just the first 2 going through to the major final. The rider in P3 will go through to the minor final, and at the moment that's the world champion as he comes up side by side to the European champion. Is he going to make this, or is the European champion Molnar going to take this? They're coming up neck and neck. Hauser goes through, Molnar goes through, and the world champion, well, he goes into the small final. Well, what can we say from the action from Sakarya? It's fast and furious as Hauser and Molnar are the last riders to go through in that semi-final for the men's to the major final. I would imagine we're going to have a little bit of time for the commissaires to look at the footage in terms of the incident with Kirill Tarasov, the Estonian rider, but we will get confirmation of which riders go through to that men's major final and then the small final. Well, there you go. They have it in front of you. So Klemenchik, Lind, Hauser and Molnar, the 4 riders progressing to the main final. Ceres, Klausman, Perrin, Gagne and Tarasov going through to the small final. Well, that's the men's finals, and they will be coming up later. First, we will have the women's small final. So let's take a look at this. These are the finals. A small final for women: Boissier, Abrahamson, Becker and Kuiper. The main final: Tormena, De Vries, Clusure and Mignum. Small final for the men: Ceres, Perrin, Gagne and Klausman, Lind, Molnar, Hauser and Klemenchik going through to the main final. So up first will be our small finals. The women's small final followed by the men's small final. They will decide today positions 5 through to 8. So always great here at Sakarya, the volume of spectators here at this cycling venue, and it is a specific cycling venue with a World Cup level BMX track. The mountain biking taking place here, road racing taking place here as well. It is a hive actually, this region of cycling and cycle sports, and you can see the crowd really getting behind and enjoying their cycling. Now, if you are enjoying the MTB Eliminator and you want to keep up with everything that's going on, you can follow City Mountain Bike on social media. You can also sign up to the City Mountain Bike newsletter, and it will be dropped straight into your inbox. All the information, the updates and interviews with athletes. Well, talking about interviews with athletes, let's head down to the start line for the small final for the women. It's Becker, Boissier, Kuiper and Abrahamson, the 4 riders lined up for the small final, being given the 15-second call. Away they go. Now it's going to be interesting to see who wants to drop into the front spot. I think it's going to be Boissier who's going to want this the most. She finished 2nd in round 3. She will want 5th in round 4. But I tell you something, the Turkish rider Becker, Aziz Becker, is absolutely adamant. She wants to be in the mix today. So does Abrahamson. And these 3 riders are tight to each other's wheels. Kuiper just slightly sitting back here at the moment as Boissier leads them into the drop. She comes into the corner onto the straight. The tight right turn will be next. Abrahamson is in too, but Becker is absolutely glued to her wheel at the moment as the 3 riders swing round onto the bridge now. So the steep, sharp bridge with Boissier going over in one. Abrahamson, the Swedish rider, and Becker just having a small problem there in terms of her gearing. So just slightly overgeared on that climb and not being able to stay with Abrahamson. So Boissier now moving up the switchback climb. She needs to hold this together. She needs to progress up to the top because Abrahamson has closed down the gap. So Abrahamson has closed down the gap, but Boissier goes over onto the rock garden and the drop descent in one. The gap now opens to Abrahamson again as Boissier hits the tarmac. So Boissier in 1, Abrahamson in 2, Becker in 3, Kuiper in 4. Last time we saw as Boissier comes up onto the stage, up onto the log roll, which will be her last technical feature. She comes down, she swings, she checks her gears, she comes round that corner and on to the finish straight. So Marion Boissier from France is going to take the win in the small final, which will give her 5th place overall today, to go alongside 2nd place last week in Indonesia. Some phenomenal riding from Marion Boissier from France at the moment in this World Cup. So Marion Boissier from France taking 1st place in the small final. Agnes Abrahamson taking 2nd place, so she will finish in 6th overall. Becker and Kuiper coming in side by side there, but Becker just coming ahead in front of Kuiper. She will take 7th place today. Elodie Kuiper from the Netherlands will take 8th. So the women's small final being dominated by Madison Boissier from France, coming through to take 5th place today. Next up on track, this is going to be the men's small final of the UCI MTB Eliminator World Cup. You can see Klausman from Germany, Perrin Gagne from France, Lorenzo Ceres from France, and Tarasov from Estonia. 15 seconds till the whistle. And away they go. This could be the final, but it's not. This is the small final and the world champion. Yes, those are the rainbow bands in the small final today. And Perrin Gagne wants that front spot, but he's not got it because yet again, Tarasov has come over the top. I tell you something, he has nailed the start on this course today. Absolutely dominant by the top of that climb, Tarasov so far. No mistakes this time as he goes around and swings in. So Tarasov from Estonia in 1, the world champion. Perrin Gagne from France in 2. Lorenzo Seris, the leader of the World Cup, in 3. Klausmann from Germany in 4. These riders now absolutely motoring thereafter. Places 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th in the World Cup today. And yes, I did say the World Cup leader and the world champion are in this race. Both of them not qualifying for the main final. But let's not take anything away from Kirill Tarasov at the moment. The Estonian rider just dropping his seat post there to come onto the rock garden, down through the jump, back onto the tarmac. Perrin Gagne now playing close attention, come rushing through onto his wheel. Perrin Gagne is coming up on the outside. He wants to go round the wide way. Tarasov trying desperately to fight him off, but Perrin Gagne pushing on to the final technical section of the day. Perrin Gagne adamant he wants that 5th place. He wants those points in the World Cup competition. He's trying to rub clean the spoils of not making the main final. Perrin Gagne comes through in 1. Kirill Tarasov from Estonia in 2. Then we see the other riders coming in thick and fast. In fact, Lorenzo Seris there coming through in 4th place and just tightening his boa, shaking his head. Very not well. I was going to say very upset, but not pleased with today's performance. So that final fast and furious, the small final and the men's, finishing with Perrin Gagne going to walk away with 5th place. Tarasov will finish with 6th, Klausmann with 7th, and Lorenzo Seris, the current World Cup leader, finishing in 8th place today at round 4 in Sakarya. So the 2 small finals now complete. This is the women's final today. This will decide places 1st through to 4th in round 4 of the World Cup. Tormena from Italy, Didi de Vries from the Netherlands, Colleen Cozieux from France, Lena Migdem from Denmark are the 4 riders lined up today. Now, Tormena, the world champion, chose not to race round 3. Didi de Vries took the win, her first World Cup win last week. Well, is this going to play out today? Who is going to pick up the spoils? Well, Tormena has been having a cracking start and deliberately staying clear of the rest of the field until the climb. Colleen Cozieux has gone for her traditional fast start, but Tormena drops in. Didi de Vries is side by side with Cozieux as Cozieux misses a pedal. So Colleen Cozieux misses the pedal, coming loose on that foot, just causing her a problem as she drops in. She's in P3 at the moment. She's not out of contention because it's Tormena and de Vries, Cozieux and Migdem, the 4 riders in this women's final today. As Tormena comes round, she's going to now hit, well, she pushes hard on the pedals because she's got the small climb that is the bridge. She comes up in 1, de Vries in 2. De Vries is trying to glue herself to Tormena's back wheel as they get onto the climb. Colleen Cozieux from France, well, she is motoring in 3 at the moment, trying to keep Lena Migdem from Denmark off her wheel, but these 4 riders really close together. So Tormena comes around the corner onto the rock garden, down off the drop, and she is now absolutely motoring as she comes onto the tarmac again, putting a gap in to Didi de Vries, but Didi de Vries has got company because Colleen Cozieux is coming. So Tormena in 1, looking like she's going to take this, but the fight is on behind and the fight is on big style. Tormena's still got to get that bike across the line. Didi de Vries comes down in P2. Colleen Cozieux comes down in 3. Lena Migdem comes down in 4, but they are so close together. It's going to be a fight for the finish line as they swing round the corner. Tormena takes 1. Didi de Vries takes 2. Who takes 3 and 4? Well, there you go. Lena Migdem takes 3. Colleen Cozieux beaten into 4th place today. So fantastic racing from our women's final today, and the world champion from Italy, Gaia Tormena, showing us how it's done. She really wanted the early lead, and she kept that early lead and kept herself out of trouble. Didi de Vries racing at the moment. Her form and her mental attitude absolutely exceptional, taking her into second place today behind the world champion Gaia Tormena after that first place last week in Indonesia. So your confirmed results: Gaia Tormena from Italy wins the women's round of the World Cup here in Sakarya. Didi de Vries in 2, Lena Migdam in 3, and Colleen Clusure in 4. Final race of the day is going to be the men's final, and they are lined up and ready to go. It's Theo Hauser from Austria, Edvard Lind from Sweden, Eddie Molnar from Romania, and Jakub Klemenček from Slovenia. And away they go, the riders riding fast and hard, and what a great shot behind them. The drone shot at the moment really showing that fight for first place, and it is indeed Edvard Lind side by side with Eddie Molnar. It's the European champion versus the winner of the early time trial, coming up 1 and 2 at the moment. Slotting into third place is Klemenček, and Hauser at the moment, well, let's just take a look at that. Yes, indeed. We've got some changes already. So Edvard Lind in 1, Klemenček coming through into 2, Molnar. I am looking, yeah, he is indeed. So the European champion Eddie Molnar, who won his European Championships jersey on this course, now on P3, and Theo Hauser on 4. So Klemenček, take a look at the struggles going up the climb here. There's a real challenge in terms of pushing a big enough gear and causing yourselves problems. But it's Edvard Lind in P1 at the moment, coming down, but in close contention is Klemenček. So Jakub Klemenček is coming up and trying to rush the back wheel. Fast and furious behind in 3 and 4 is indeed Molnar and Hauser. But Edvard Lind, is he going to be rewarded today with the win that has escaped him so far this season? He's ridden all 4 rounds, but the fight is on from behind, because Edvard Lind comes round the corner fighting for first place today, but the fight is on, and Hauser is nearly on the side with Klemenček. I think Hauser's going to take it in the sprint. I think Hauser just took that from Klemenček in the sprint, but that was so tight. We're going to have to wait confirmation to see who came through in second and third there. There you go. Edvard Lind confirmed in first place. Theo Hauser coming through and taking second place in the final meters of that course from Jakub Klemenček. Eddie Molnar, the European champion, finishing in 4th place today. Wow. Absolutely fast and furious, and those positions changing. Take a look at that. Theo Hauser at this point is in P4. He's come through from the back of the field right the way through in those latter stages to come through to win the sprint for second place. Amazing riding from Theo Hauser today. Jakub Klemenček and Eddie Molnar coming in 3rd and 4th. Edvard Lind finally getting that win he has been hunting for. Well, the racing here in Sakarya in Turkey, absolutely fast and furious. Just confirmation there of the men's results for the final. Edvard Lind from Sweden, Theo Hauser from Austria, Jakub Klemenček from Slovenia, and Eddie Molnar from Romania taking the 1, 2, 3, 4 in the UCI MTB Eliminator World Cup. This is round 4 from Sakarya, and as you can see there, it is a beautiful day. The sun is shining, it's 22 degrees, not too hot for racing, and boy have we been given some phenomenal racing from both the men and the women in the XCE World Cup. Well, it's going to be all change, I can tell you, at the top of the World Cup standings and all the way through the lists with the racing today. And that's the way we like it, because we are round 4 today in the MTB Eliminator World Cup for 2024. We've got one more stop before the World Championships. But first of all, let's hear from Gaia Tormena.
So yes, then the level is higher and higher every year, and of course I'm happy about my race. This one was a great opportunity to gain many points for the GC, and I'm happy to win both the qualification and the eliminator race.
for the GC, Didi will probably be a good opponent for the coming races.
Yes, of course. I've always thought that Didi is very, very strong. She's starting to believe in herself more and more after every race, and I'm super happy about this.
Is there something you want to say to the Italian people at home watching you?
Ciao a tutti quelli che mi stanno guardando. Come avete visto, l'Eliminator è una gara stupenda e siamo molto fortunati ad avere questa possibilità di gareggiare in giro per il mondo e niente, mi ritengo una ragazza fortunata e sono felicissima di quello che sto facendo. Grazie.
Congratulazioni.
Grazie.
Well, I'm loving the awareness amongst the racers of the competition and the joy to see other people getting stronger. And same between Guy Tormena there and Didi de Vries in 1 and 2. So you can see in the flower ceremony today, our top 3 in the women's race. Lena Migdam from Denmark in 3, Didi de Vries from the Netherlands in 2, and Guy Tormena, the world champion, taking first place today. Well, shortly we will be moving to the men's flower ceremony, but first of all, let's just confirm where we are in the World Cup standings. Tormena staying on top spot, De Vries confirming second place there, Madison Boissier in 3, Van Dienst in 4, Marion Fromberg are very close behind though in 5th, just 3 points separating them, but the top 3 now moving very strongly clear of the rest of the World Cup. So we will shortly be moving to the men's flower ceremony. But before that, we are going to be able to hear from Edvin Lind, the winner of the men's competition today.
It feels so fucking good, man. I have 2 second places, a bunch of 5th places, but I knew from the qualifiers today that I had the legs to do it. I was just hoping that both me and the bike could keep it together, and yeah, it ended up like that.
What do you think of the Turkish crowd? They were amazing today.
Oh, they're great. Seeing the whole arena basically filled up, it gives you power, really.
Is GC now a big goal for you? Because you will be like very close in GC from now on?
Oh, yeah, GC was one of my big goals this year. So being able to grab points in both the qualifiers and winning the finals, it feels really good, and it's feels promising for the rest of the season.
Enjoy, man.
Thank you.
Well, the emotion of the first win for Edvin Lind coming through there. So apologies for any language if it offended any of our viewers, but he has been fighting for that win, and you can see there the top 3 at the flower ceremony now in the men's race. It was a tightly fought race. The Slovenian Jakub Klemenčík in 3, the Austrian rider Theo Hauser in 2, and the Swedish rider Edvin Lind taking his first win of the Round World Cup this year. Well, the World Cup standings now are completely changed after Lorenzo Ceres not making the major final, slips from first place down into second, and second place Edvin Lind with the win, now moving ahead of Lorenzo Ceres, but it's tight, just 16 points in it, and I think we are going to see some great racing across the next round of the World Cup between those two. And let's not forget Hauser and Molnar pairing Gagne, the world champion, rounding out the top 5. It's going to be great racing throughout the rest of the season.
Sakarya Büyükşehir Belediye Başkanımız Sayın Yusuf Alemdar da
Well, Sakarya has been fantastic again for giving us some close racing. We are heading next to Leuven in Belgium on Sunday, the 2nd of June. Yep, you are correct. That is indeed next Sunday. We then take a break in the World Cup rounds for the World Championships in Aalen in Germany on July the 13th, before we head to Brazil on Sunday the 18th of August for round 6. 8 rounds in total, so we are, well, pretty much halfway. Well, if this is where we are at the halfway point, I can't wait to see where we get to over the next 4 rounds. It could all change, so you need to be with us to see what will happen. So Gaetan Mena and Edvin Lind coming out on top today. Next time we see you, we will be in Leuven in Belgium on Sunday the 2nd of June. Will the top of the World Cup standings remain the same, or will we see another shake-up with the riders battling it out down to the wire? Well, join us for round 5 of the UCI Mountain Bike Eliminator World Cup from Leuven next week to find out. Until then, enjoy your riding. Goodbye.